Most people think WD-40 is just a lubricant, but it's not. The formula is a thin oil mixed with solvents that dissolve rust, and the spray propellant forces the oil deep into tight spaces your hands cannot reach. That is why it works on problems regular grease fails on. WD-40 stands for Water Displacement 40 because they tested it 40 times before it worked right. Every mechanic shop has this can, but they do not talk about what it really does because once you know, you stop paying them for simple fixes. Before we start, if you have ever used WD-40, hit that subscribe button right now and share your story in the comments. Now let me show you the 15 tricks. Trick 1. Unfreeze a frozen car lock in seconds. It is below freezing outside and you try to unlock your door, but the key will not turn. The lock cylinder is frozen solid, and when you pull harder, you feel the key start to bend. Stop right there. Spray WD-40 directly into the keyhole and around the latch area. Wait 5 seconds while the formula melts the ice and drives out trapped moisture, then try the key again. It turns smooth and the door opens. After it opens, spray the lock one more time with a light coat to prevent it from freezing again tomorrow night. Do this before every winter and you never have a frozen lock again. Trick 2. Silence a squeaky door hinge permanently. Your door squeaks every time you open it because metal is grinding on metal. The hinge is dry and that friction wears down the pin, so ignore this long enough and the door sags out of alignment. Then you need a $400 body shop repair. Spray WD-40 directly on the hinge joint where the pin sits and open and close the door 10 times to work the formula in. The squeak is gone. The hinge is lubricated and protected from rust, and doing this every 3 months keeps your doors moving smooth for years. 1 minute of work prevents a $400 repair. Trick 3. Free a stuck spark plug without stripping threads. You try to remove a spark plug and it will not budge. The plug is seized tight in the cylinder head, and when you twist harder, the socket slips. One wrong move and you strip the threads, costing $300 to fix. Spray WD-40 directly on the spark plug base, where it enters the head, and let it soak for 10 minutes. The formula needs time to seep deep into the threads, then after 10 minutes, turn the socket slowly, and the plug will move smooth without any force or risk of damage. This same trick works on oxygen sensors seized in the exhaust manifold. Spray it, wait 10 minutes, and remove it clean. Trick 4. Loosen a corroded fuel cap that will not budge. Your fuel cap is stuck because the threads are corroded and the rubber seal is seized. When you twist, the cap starts to tear and the seal inside will rip, causing your fuel door to leak. Spray WD-40 on the threads and edges of the cap and let it sit for 3 minutes while the formula seeps into the corrosion. Twist gently and the cap breaks free without tearing while keeping the seal intact. Now spray it one more time and wipe with a cloth to create a protective coat that stops corrosion from forming again. Next time you remove the cap, it will turn effortlessly. Trick 5. Stop battery terminal corrosion before it kills your electrical system. Pop your hood and look at your battery terminals to see that white, green, or bluish crust. That is corrosion, and it is acidic, strangling your electrical flow. The first sign is slow starting, dim headlights, and random warning lights. Ignore it, and the corrosion spreads to the alternator, preventing your battery from charging and causing your car to die on the highway. Disconnect the battery cables starting with the negative first, then spray WD-40 directly on the corroded terminals and let it bubble for 30 seconds while the formula dissolves the buildup. Scrub gently with an old toothbrush and wipe clean with a dry cloth. Now spray the terminals one more time with a light coat and reconnect the cables. Your battery will start strong and the corrosion will not come back for months. Do this every 3 months, especially before winter, because 5 minutes of work prevents a dead battery when you need your car most. Trick 6. Protect electrical connectors from moisture and corrosion. Moisture kills electronics, and rain, humidity, and snow find their way into connector pins under your hood. The metal oxidizes, the connection weakens, random warning lights appear, the ECU reads bad data, and the engine runs rough. Before the rainy season hits, disconnect each electrical plug you can safely reach, including battery terminals, sensor connectors, and fuse box plugs. Spray WD-40 on the metal pins and let it dry completely before reconnecting everything. The formula leaves behind a thin protective film that blocks moisture and salt, keeping those connectors resistant to corrosion for months. One 5-minute job prevents hours of diagnosis and hundreds in repair costs. Trick 7. Restore cloudy and oxidized headlights without a restoration kit. Your headlights are yellowed and cloudy because the plastic is oxidized and the light scatters instead of focusing. Your visibility at night drops by half and it becomes a safety hazard. Most people buy a headlight restoration kit for $50 and spend 30 minutes buffing and polishing, but sometimes it works and sometimes it does not. Here is the faster way. Wash the headlight with soap and water and dry it completely. Then spray WD-40 generously over the lens and wipe it in slow circles with a clean microfiber cloth. Within 30 seconds, the fog lifts, the headlight clears, and the light focuses again. This is not permanent and it lasts about a week, but before a night drive or a job interview, spray the headlights and they look brand new. Mechanics do this before delivering cars to customers, and the customers think the headlights were replaced. Trick 8. Free rusted bolts without heat or impact tools. A bolt is seized tight and the wrench groans when you turn it. You twist harder and feel the bolt start to slip, then one more turn and the bolt snaps, leaving you with a broken bolt stuck in your engine block. Do not use heat and do not use an impact wrench. Instead, grab WD-40 and spray it directly on the rusted bolt, the threads, and the head. Then let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes while the formula seeps deep into the rust and breaks the corrosion bond from the inside. When you return, place the wrench on the bolt and tap it gently with a hammer to help the WD-40 work deeper through vibration. Now twist slowly and the bolt will turn smooth with no snapping and no stripped threads. This works on exhaust bolts, suspension nuts, and any fastener that has not moved in years. Trick 9. Bring stuck window regulators back to life. Your power window drags and makes a grinding noise, barely moving up and down. The motor is working fine, but the problem is the tracks are dirty. The window tracks are clogged with dust, dried grease, and debris inside those rubber channels, so the glass has to fight its way up and the motor works harder. Eventually, the motor burns out and costs $300 to replace. Roll the window all the way down and spray WD-40 along the inner tracks using just enough to loosen the grime, but not so much that the rubber drips. Roll the window up and down 10 times to spread the lubricant evenly. The window will move smoother immediately and the grinding noise disappears because the motor no longer has to fight. Do this every 6 months and your windows will glide like new for years. Trick 10. Silence squeaky wiper blades and bring them back to life. You turn on your wipers and instead of a clean sweep, you get streaks, chatter, and squeaking. The rubber is dried out because UV rays and heat hardened it, so the blade no longer grips the glass. Most people replace the blades immediately for $30 to $50, but you can often bring them back to life first. Lift the wipers off the windshield and clean them with a damp cloth to remove dirt and road grime, then spray WD-40 on a microfiber cloth and wipe along the rubber edge from end to end, while the formula restores flexibility and removes the oily film that causes streaks. Wipe the windshield clean to remove residue and turn on the wipers. They move quietly and wipe cleanly with the blades gripping the glass like new, and this lasts several weeks before you need to spray again. Do this every month during rainy season and your wipers stay effective without replacement. Detailers use this trick before handing back rental cars. Trick 11. Eliminate dashboard squeaks and interior rattles. You're driving down the road and that annoying rattle from the dashboard starts again. It is soft, persistent, and maddening because the problem is dry plastic joints rubbing together as the cabin flexes. Spray a small amount of WD-40 on a microfiber cloth, never spray directly on the dashboard, and wipe along the seams, vents, and places where plastic panels meet, while the formula lubricates those joints, conditions the plastic, and reduces friction. The squeaks stop and the interior feels solid and quiet, with the plastic getting a subtle shine without that greasy feel. Do this every 6 months and your interior stays quiet like a new car. Trick 12. Remove old sticker residue and adhesive without scratching paint. You peel off an old bumper sticker and left behind is a gray, sticky mess. You scrape it and the residue spreads. You rub it and it just gets worse because you risk scratching the paint. Spray WD-40 directly on the adhesive residue and let it sit for 1 minute while the formula breaks down the glue. Wipe it away with a microfiber cloth using gentle circular motions and the adhesive slides right off. For stubborn spots, spray again and let it sit for 2 minutes because the longer the formula sits, the softer the adhesive becomes. When it is gone, wash the area with warm soapy water to remove any oily film. This works on bumper stickers, parking permits, decals, and old tape marks while keeping the paint perfect and the surface looking brand new. Detailers use this before sales because it makes cars look cleaner. Trick 13. Stop rusted license plate screws from snapping off. Rusty license plate screws are holding your plate on, but they are corroded and weak. The rust spread around the edges, staining the bumper, and when you try to remove the plate, the screws snap clean off. Now you have broken bolts stuck in the bumper holes and drilling them out is expensive. Spray WD-40 directly on the screws and around the rusty edges and let it soak for 5 minutes while the formula dissolves the corrosion. Use an old toothbrush to scrub away the remaining rust and wipe clean with a cloth. The screws will turn smooth when you need to remove them, and giving them one more light coat protects them from future corrosion. Trick 14. Restore chrome bumpers and trim to showroom shine. Your chrome is dull because road salt, rain, and UV rays turned it dark gray, and you can see the start of rust creeping in. It looks neglected. Do not use harsh abrasives that scratch chrome. Instead, spray WD-40 generously over the chrome surface and let it sit for 10 seconds before wiping it down with a soft microfiber cloth using circular motions. The oxidation dissolves, the grime lifts, and the chrome shines like new, while the formula leaves behind a protective coating that shields against future rust and salt damage. This works on bumpers, exhaust tips, trim rings, and any chrome. And detailers use this before delivering high-end cars because the chrome looks so good. Customers ask what product was used. Trick 15. Prevent rust on your entire undercarriage and suspension. Your undercarriage takes the worst beating because road salt corrodes everything and mud holds moisture against metal. Suspension arms rust, control arm seize, and bolts corrode solid. Once rust takes hold, it spreads fast, and a $500 suspension repair turns into a $5,000 replacement job. Prevention is simple, but most people skip it. Jack up your car safely on all four corners, or have it lifted at a service station and spray WD-40 on every exposed metal part you can reach, including suspension arms, control arms, subframe edges, wheel wells, brake lines, and any bare metal. The formula repels water, blocks salt, and prevents oxidation while you reapply every 3 months, especially before winter and after driving on salty roads. This single habit adds years to your car's life, because a seized bolt that cannot be removed costs more to drill out than this entire prevention routine costs in WD-40 for 5 years. That is tricks with WD-40. Now here is what I need from you. If you learned something new today, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Turn on the bell notification so you never miss a video. Drop a comment below and tell me which WD-40 trick you are going to try first. Which one surprised you? Which one will save you the most money? I read every comment and I respond. Share this video with someone who needs to know these tricks. Send it to a friend who always pays mechanics for simple fixes. Help them learn to save money on their car. Thanks for watching. Your car will run smoother because of this video.